Hi everyone, and welcome to our second live webinar that we're doing. Hopefully you joined us last week, but if you didn't, if this is your first time, hi, I'm Elliot Rowland. I'm the Operations Director here at WebDaddy. The idea of these sessions is to give you some hints and tips, advice, anything we can do really to help with your website and also the VIA software to help you work remotely and help you do anything that you need to do on your website to communicate with your customers at this time. Last week, we covered a few things, actually. One of the things we covered was how to add a COVID-19 or coronavirus message to your homepage, to your website. If you want information about that, if you haven't yet put something on your website, I really recommend that you check out last week's session. They are available on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/webdaddy. or on our Vimeo channel, which is vimeo.com/webdaddy. So you can see that demonstration there of how to add that message to your website. We also went through video tours and virtual tours and how you could add those to your website. So again, if that's something that you're interested in, I really recommend that you watch last week's session as well. Today, we're going to go through a few things. There was quite a few requests, so it might be a little bit of a long session, but hopefully you're available to watch and see it through to the end. We're going to go through a few things. One of them is how to work remotely, how to set up users remotely, and things like that. So we'll go over that. We'll also be showing you our new newsletter functionality. So obviously speaking to your customers, keeping in communication with them and sending information digitally is going to be really important at the moment. So we're going to go through our new newsletter functionality and how you can create new newsletter templates and send them out to any of the contacts that you need to. We're also going to go through how you can check out the website statistics, how you can link your VIA software account to Google Analytics so that you can check out who's visiting the website, what they're doing on the website, get those key stats to your website that are going to be really important right now. It's really important that you understand that digital audience, that web audience, understand what they're looking for and making sure you're fulfilling those needs. So we'll go through that again today. And also we're going to go through how to build some pages, and how to really utilize blog content and things like that, and how to link that blog content back into website pages and how to keyword blogs and things like that. So that's what we'll be going through today. So yeah, let's start. So let's talk about users on the VIA system and how you can work remotely. So VIA is what we call a cloud platform, which means you can access it from any internet browser. So you can be working from home, you can be accessing it on a tablet. As long as you have access to the internet and can click on a browser, you can log in to your VIA software if you need to. The easiest way to remember what your VIA login is, obviously I know a few of you might have saved it in your favorites or bookmarks on your office computer that you might not have access to. The easiest way to remember it is it's your website /webdaddy. So it would be www.yourwebsite.com or .co.uk, whatever it is, /webdaddy. That's how you access the login to the VIA software. So I'm just going to share my screen with you, and then we can I can start showing you some of the VIA software. So here we go. When you log in, this will be your dashboard that you'll see when you first log in. Obviously, setting up users is going to be one of the most important things. Hopefully, everyone who's here today obviously has their own login, and you've all put what user rights you have access to, which is fantastic. But if you need to set new people up on the system, you go to this tab here, which is the users tab. You can click on that, and then you can go to manage. And then you'll see all of the users who are set up on the system, and you can see the user rights that they have. So different users within the system will have access to different parts of the system. So you need to make sure that everyone who needs to access the system, firstly, is set up as a user, and secondly, has the appropriate user rights. A few people and a few accounts that we've spoken to only has one user set up within VIA. Now, we don't know your organizations, we don't know what your setup is, but at the moment, I'd strongly recommend that you have at least 2 or 3 users set up on the system. That way, you know that someone always has access, and should someone be off ill or self-isolating who doesn't have access to what they should, as long as you've got 2 or 3 users set up on that system, you can make sure that various people can log into the system and do what they need to on your website. If you want to track what users are doing and, checking that they're doing work that you've set, you just want to manage your team and see what they're up to, this Manage tab here will show you when they last logged into the system. So they'll show you when they last logged into the system. But actually, if you go to the one underneath, which is the History tab, that History tab will show you all of the interactions that have happened in regards to the website. So you'll be able to see who's added what, who's added a blog, who's edited the homepage, that kind of thing. So it's a good way to track your staff as well, to understand what they're up to. Okay, so hopefully that covers off users. We did cover it last week, but again, a few people were asking for information about how to set people up remotely. So it's the Users tab, and hopefully that's useful for you. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to show you today was our new newsletter functionality. I'm going to just switch over to another account to show you this. So we've recently added into VIA the ability to send a newsletter to any of the contacts that you have stored in the system. This is obviously going to be really useful at the moment. You might want to update people. You might want to let them know what your operation is at the moment, how they contact you, who they should contact, where do they go for certain services, that kind of thing. So if you go to the top tab, on this version of the software, it's called CRM. You might see a tab called Lead Manager. So it will either be called Lead Manager or CRM. If you click that there, you will see a tab called Newsletter. You'll see here I already have a newsletter saved. Chances are when you go on there, this list will be blank. So what you do is you create templates here. So in order to create a new template, you simply click the Add Newsletter button. So when we click that, you'll have a screen which is fairly similar to the rest of the VIA system. But you start off by giving your newsletter a name. So you might call it the April update, or whatever you wanted to call it. You've got the visible box here, so you tick that as soon as you want to make it available. And if you don't tick that, it'll just be a draft. So you can leave that blank if you want to. The first box here, you have the ability to add in a quote. So you don't have to fill this in, but you can start your newsletter by having a quote from your business, and that quote will be in speech marks, and you can also put the quote author. So there might be a snippet of information or something you want to share with your audience that you can add in there. Third one here is the month header. So you might want to categorize this by month, or just give it a slight title to kind of categorize what the newsletter is. So that's where you'd add it in here. You can add media to the newsletter, and this will appear right at the top. So you might want to design a kind of header or something like that will appear right at the top of the newsletter. So that's where you upload it. You can either drag and drop it, or you can click it here. And you just go to your basic file upload system. You can then add in properties. You might want to display a series of properties that you want to feature within that newsletter. So you just start typing what you want to search for, and then you can just add those properties by selecting plus, and it will display there. Finally, you can add in blog articles as well. So you can add any blog articles that you want to appear, and they will just appear in different articles, one after each other. Really good way of reusing content. Obviously, when you're generating things, you don't want to be doing things 4 or 5 times. The idea of this is that you can create one blog which appears on your website, and you can reuse that content in your email marketing. So one change will then output everywhere. And it means you don't have to spend your time building lots and lots of content up. The idea is you can use all the different content across different platforms within VIA, be that the website, be that the newsletter. Once you're done, you just press save and close, but I'm just going to show you one that I did earlier. So here we've got the name of our newsletter. It's shown to display because we're ready to go. We've added a quote in there. We've added the quote author, we've given it a monthly header, and I've added this letterbox style image that's going to appear at the top of the newsletter. I recommend personally that when you add media here, you do it in a similar ratio. So something that's quite wide and quite thin, and you'll see in a moment why I recommend that. It will just look better within that newsletter template. So when you're designing something, or you indeed get someone to design it for you, very much do it in a letterbox style ratio. You can see here I've added a couple of properties, and I've also added a couple of blog articles as well that are there on the website. Once it's good to go and you've saved it, you can preview it. So you can check what it's going to look like before you do anything. So if I just preview that here, you can see I've got my monthly header here. I've got the title of the blog here, and I've got my image here at the top. You can see that's the reason why I'm kind of recommending that you do a kind of letterbox ratio. If you add something that's more like a photograph, more like a 6:4 ratio, it's obviously just going to be a little bit taller, so it's going to push the content of that newsletter down a little bit. So you probably want it to be more of a banner like we've got there. You can see here we've got the quote that we added in. Then underneath that we've got our blog articles. You can add as many blog articles as you want. Obviously I've added in 2 here, but you can add in as many as you want to. Then underneath that you've got your featured properties that you added in. And then underneath that, we'll automatically pull in your logo and add in a footer for you. So you can see it's a really simple way to generate content, send it out to your contact database, and quickly add content that already exists on your website. Chances are you are adding a lot of blogs at the moment. You're probably updating your customers on what's going on, what your operations are. If you're not adding blogs onto your website, I really recommend that you are doing that as a way of communicating with customers and generating content quickly. And yeah, then you can reuse that information in these newsletters. So that's how you preview it. When you're ready to send that newsletter, what you want to do is go to your contacts tab. You can then search for the contacts that you want to send this to. So you could either search for all of your content, all of your contacts rather, or you could do an advanced search and, for example, search for all of your applicants who are looking for a certain type of property, or all of your landlords, or all of your vendors. You can very much customize who you want to send this to. So if I just do a general search, you would then select individually who you want to send it to. You can hold down Control on your keyboard and then multi-select as you tick this box, or you can just tick this top one here and you will highlight all of them. And then when you're good to go, you keep them all highlighted. You go back to your newsletter tab, you right click and go send newsletter. And that will send that newsletter off to all the people that you have highlighted. Okay, so a couple of people saying that they couldn't see the newsletter, so I'm just going to go back and show the preview again. So there we go. That's how you preview the newsletter, and you can see that it gives you the monthly title there. Your media will be at the top. The main title will be at the top, followed by the quote, then your blog articles, and then your properties as well. And then we'll pull in your logo and a footer. Okay, so that's how you generate new templates, and that's how you then send that newsletter out to people. I wouldn't recommend that you send too many newsletters. There's no limit in this system. You can send as many newsletters as you want to people, but I would keep that contact down to a minimum. You don't want to be spamming people every day. But the good thing about this system is you can customize that content. So you might want to send a specific newsletter, for example, with relevant blog articles to your landlords or to your current vendors. And that might be very different to the content that you want to send, say, to applicants. So you can use this system to generate different templates and then send that to your audience. But I wouldn't recommend that you send the same thing again and again, or just constantly spam all of your contacts with everything, because it's not going to be relevant to them. So yeah, you could use this system how you wish. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Sorry, a couple of people just saying that they didn't see how to send a newsletter out to contacts, so I'm going to quickly do that again. You go to the contacts tab here. You can then do a search of your contacts. So you could search for individual contacts, do a general search, or you could use the advanced search to set criteria, such as applicants, landlords, or vendors. And then you can either highlight all of them by ticking this box here at the top, or you can individually select if you prefer. So you just hold down Control and click to multi-select, and then you can select exactly the contacts that you want to send it to, keep them highlighted, go back to the newsletter, right-click the template that you want to send, and select the Send Newsletter. That's how you do it. Okay, so that's the newsletter functionality. Hopefully that was useful for you. Second thing I wanted to show you today is it's going to be of vital importance that you understand who's looking at your website, what they're looking at, how long they're spending there, checking out things like your bounce rate. Your bounce rate is where someone will land on a page and immediately bounce off of it. That indicates that the content on that page either isn't relevant to them or doesn't convert very well. It's not a web page that actually generates you many leads or sort of entices someone to spend time on that page. Before you make changes to your website, the most important thing really is to understand why you need to make changes and what changes would have the most effect. And the easiest way to work that out is really by using Google Analytics. So I'm going to show you how you can use VIA to get those web statistics. So when you log in, go to the reports section here. You'll expand that and you'll see one called website. So if you tick that, you'll then see a series of statistics that you can then use to work out exactly what's happening on your website. Obviously, this one here is a test account, so some of the information is going to be a bit skewed than it normally would on a real live website, but I'm just going to quickly run through these tiles with you. So first thing to remember is you can report on any date range that you want to. So just click these date ranges here, and you can then report on anything you want to. So you can report on a month, you can report on 3 months, you can report on the last week. You can really hone in on specific time periods that you want to have a look at. The first one top left shows you how many people have viewed the property pages of your website. So how many people are essentially looking at property on your website. And it correlates it against how many property emails you've sent through the system and how many newsletters you've sent. So you can then see, if I send a newsletter, do I get mass people coming to the website? Do I see a spike in traffic to my website? Or if I send out a property alert, do I see a spike in people visiting the website? Hopefully you should. And if you're using those systems effectively, you should do. The newsletters and the property alert emails are a way of getting people to come to your site and view the content on there. So this will allow you to plot that on a graph and see exactly what's happening. The top two tiles here are your least viewed properties and your most viewed properties. So you can essentially see the top 10 and the bottom 10 of your properties. The top 10 is really useful to see because if a vendor contacts you, you can say, well, your property is one of the top viewed on our website. Chances are those properties are kind of looking after themselves. Actually, it's probably the least viewed properties that need the most attention from you. So this is probably more useful than the most viewed properties, but obviously you can use this information how you need it to. Where you've got these least viewed properties, I would recommend triggering either a newsletter with them as featured properties, or more specifically, probably a property alert through the system, just to generate some more interest. That's a great way to get more viewings on that property to boost it. The other thing that you could do here as well is if you have featured properties on the homepage of your website, you could make one of these least viewed ones one of the featured properties on your homepage. We had an example recently of a customer who had two properties that were virtually identical. They were both on for the same price. They were on the same road, same bedrooms, both had a garden next to desirable schools. And one of them had 15 times more online views than the other one. Now, obviously, if you're the vendor of the property getting less views, you're probably wondering why that's happening and why you weren't getting as much interest as your neighbor down the road with a virtually identical property. We worked out that the reason they had 15 times more views was because one of the properties had been set as a featured property on the homepage, whilst the other one hadn't. So it's a really powerful tool to use the featured properties on your homepage. So really good idea here of what properties to set on that homepage. The other tile here is valuations. So anyone filling in a valuation on your homepage, it will stack up the postcode here. So you can see all of the postcodes and see the most popular ones where people are inquiring on your website. You can hit this export button here. And what that will do is it will trigger a download of an Excel document. If we click that, that will open a document, and we've actually linked this to the Royal Mail database. So drag this across. So there you can see that's the document that it's downloaded. And we've linked this to Royal Mail, so it will show you every single address within that postcode. So what it will allow you to do is target your canvassing efforts. So you know that someone who's interested in your services is based, in one of these addresses. You can download this list and use this list to target your canvassing efforts. Obviously, that's something that you might not be doing right now. In fact, it's probably something that you're not doing, but for future reference, it's a really good way to get an address list of valuations. That tile will actually show you the postcode even if someone doesn't submit the form. So someone might begin typing the form, decide they don't want to give you their email address, they don't actually want to submit it, but the first thing they do is tell you the property. As soon as they've done that, we capture that information and display it in this tile. So you haven't necessarily received a valuation through the website, but you can still use this to target that person. It's what we call a soft lead. So they might not have come through to you, but you could still target and try and get them on board. The fifth tile here is what we call key lead generation. So it will show you a breakdown of the types of leads that you're getting through the website. So you'll see it will show you online registration. So that's people creating an account, actually signing up for an account through your website. Arrange a viewing. These are pretty self-explanatory. Anyone filling out the arrange a viewing form through the property details page. The call me back form, that's just your general call me back forms, your sort of non-specific, I want some more information forms that might be dotted around around your site. And you've also got valuations. These will be the specific valuation forms where people input their address. So it gives you a really good breakdown of what leads am I getting through the website and what type of leads. If you find that you're getting a lot of leads, but they're not necessarily the type of lead that you want, that will then give you information to say, well, actually, do I need to add a valuation form to my homepage, for example, because I'm not getting enough valuation leads, or I'm not getting any call me backs. If you're not getting any of these types of leads, it's a really good idea to go through your website and actually work out, do I have these forms on the site? And if I do, what pages have I put them on? Because it might be that they're not in a kind of high profile place to really generate those leads for you. So have a look at this graph, work out what type of leads you're getting, and then you can take stock of that and make changes to your website if you need to. The other one here is really useful. It's called trends. So it will show you how many properties have been viewed on your website, how many online registrations, how many arranger viewings, how many call me backs, and how many valuations. So it's similar in the sense that it's showing you all of your lead generation plus how many properties have been viewed on your website. It will show you whether you're up or down compared to a previous period. So if, for example, I had a date range of a month, it would then show me, what does this month look like compared to last month? If the date range was a week, this would be showing you what it looked like this week compared to last week. It will also then show you what we call the market. So we'll show you an amalgamated bunch of information from our entire platform. That will then give you a benchmark to see, you know, if I'm up, is that part of a wider trend? And actually all of the WebDaddy platform are seeing the same trend. Or am I behind the curve? Am I actually finding that we're not doing as well as actually some other people are? So it shows you how well you're doing and gives you a benchmark against our entire platform as well. These tiles here, I'm going to show you in just a second, but you might not see these tiles when you log in. These tiles actually pull in information from Google Analytics. Now, I don't know how many of you use Google Analytics. It's a great tool, but sometimes it can be fairly confusing about what data it's showing you and how you navigate it, because it shows you so much, sometimes you just don't know what you're looking for. So what we've done in these tiles is actually amalgamated your Google Analytics data into very specific information that's actually really useful to you. So we will show you how many visitors you've had to the site over that time period, and we'll break it down by new visitors and returning visitors. So you can see who's brand new and who's actually visited your site before. We'll give you the bounce rate of both. So you can see, you know, are my returning customers actually finding what they want, or actually do I have a real problem with new customers and a really high bounce rate? To give you an idea of what that bounce rate should be, anything 40% or under is very good. So if you have a bounce rate of 40% or under, or hovering around 40%, it's very good. 50% is about average. If you're on about 60% or over, that's not great. So if you find that you've got a bounce rate of 60% or above, you probably want to consider making some changes to your homepage, or maybe even making some changes to your menu just to make it clearer. But that's something we can probably cover in another one of these webinar sessions. You know, how to use your bounce rate, but certainly use that to get a good idea of what's going on. It will also show you the total website hits that you've had over that time period, what your combined bounce rate is. So that's for both new visitors and returning visitors, and the average time on the website. Obviously, the more time they spend on your website, the better. You've also got here two tiles that show you search statistics. So it will show you your most popular search area and price range and bedrooms for sales and lettings. And it will also show you your top 5 search terms. So here you can see the top search here was for properties to let in Guildford, up to £1,000 with 1 bedroom. So it really starts to give you an idea of what your audience are looking for, and what type of property stock that they're after. Final 2 tiles here are user origin. So that's, where did your website audience come from? Did they come from organic search, which is this one? So that would be typically from Google. They might have come from Bing, or one of the other search engines. Let's be honest, no one really uses those other search engines, so it's pretty much going to be Google in this organic search. Direct is traffic where they know your website address, so they just come straight to you. So they type into the URL exactly where they want to go, and they know where they're going. Social will be anyone who's visited your website from your social media accounts. So that will be, you know, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, that kind of thing. And finally, a referral. So a referral will be someone's on another website and they've clicked a link back to your website. So I don't know, you might have written a guest blog article on someone else's website and it links back. You might have a partnership with another company and they advertise your services and that clicks back to you. So that will tell you how successful that is. And finally, you've got your top 10 pages. So it will show you what are the most popular website pages of your website. You'll probably find that your homepage obviously is your most popular, but beyond that, it will be interesting for you to have a look and see what your most popular pages are. You might find that if you compare what's popular this week compared to maybe a month ago, your audience has changed what they're looking for. So do have a look at that and work out what your audience is now looking for. It's handy to know your top 10 pages because you know what you want your customers and potential customers to be looking at on your website. If they're not looking at that and you find that actually they're looking at a bunch of pages that you don't want them to be looking at, it probably suggests that you need to make the pages that you want them to go to either clearer, you need to put more information on there, or maybe design it slightly differently. But it's probably telling you that you need to make those pages more accessible. So you want to make sure that the menu of your website is nice and clear. The larger your menu is, the harder it is for people to find content easily. So if there's some key pages that you want people to find, have a look at your site, have a look at your menu and say, actually, how easy is it for people to find this content? Is it worth me maybe changing my menu structure? Is it worth me perhaps advertising that on the homepage so that they can easily find it? If you find that you haven't got these tiles, if you're only displaying these top 6, then what you need to do, and I'll just switch over to another account where this is the case. So I'll just go to the website reports. Yeah, so you'll find that you only have these 6 tiles. You don't have anything else. What you need to do is click this blue button here in the top right. If you click that, that will take you to a settings section and you'll see here Google Analytics. You need to click this bit here which says get access code. That will then open a pop-up and all you need to do is add the email address and then the password of your Google account that your analytics account is saved on. So you sign into that and then that will give you a code. You simply copy that and paste it into here and press save. And that will then link your Google Analytics account. Once you've done that, a couple more drop-down boxes will appear here, just allowing you to select the specific Google Analytics account that you want to link to via. It might be that you only have one analytics account, but you still need to select those options from the drop-down. Once you've done that, there will be a message in VIA and it will say go to website statistics. Once that message appears, you know that you've linked it correctly and you'll see that it will go from this to this and it will display those additional 5 tiles. So that's the website statistics. Hopefully that's useful. it obviously displays information that's really relevant to you. Instead of looking at everything in Google Analytics, it's actually showing you very specific information, which is going to help you understand your audience. Really important right now, because pretty much all of your customer base is going to be coming through your website. You know, they're not going to be coming into your branch. They're probably not calling your branch because they're assuming it's not open. Everything's probably going to be digital. So have a look at this, make sure it's linked, make sure you're understanding your website audience. A few people have asked about how to kind of build website pages and add content and understand a little bit more information about that. I'm going to show you some of that now, but the easiest thing to do is head over to our Vimeo account, which is vimeo.com webdaddy. So it's up here. So you want an URL address for you. You'll then see all of our videos, but if you go to more here and then go to showcases, you will see this one here called Via Tutorials. If we click that. This is all of the tutorials, all of the video tutorials that we've done for building pages or editing your menu or changing your footer or updating your cookie policy. All of these things have been made into video tutorials for you. So the best thing to do if you really want to understand how to build a website page and how to build a kind of advanced design and things like that, or editing your menu, check out these videos because they're pre-done by our trainer. They're really good. They're really clear. You can pause it at any time. You can work along to them. So do check this out and have a look at all of the options there. If you really get stuck on something, do email our help desk at helpdesk@webdaddy.com, and they will also be able to help you. But these videos are going to be your best reference to build things right now. I am going to show you though how to build a very basic website page, and then also how to link your blog content to website pages. The reason you might want to do that is because when you add blogs to the system, you will probably be adding blogs that cover a whole range of different topics. So you might add blogs about your new homes department, for example, about the new developments that you have on offer. That is very different to a blog maybe about the community things that you're doing, maybe charities you support, updates and things like that. They are then very different to industry news and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you how you can add blogs to website pages, but only pull in blogs of a certain type. So you would keyword a blog, and maybe you only want to show industry news on one page, and maybe you have another page where you only want to show blogs about new homes, or only show blogs about your charity work or something like that. So we'll go in here. So to set up a website page, you go to website, and then you go to pages, and you click the add page button here to add a brand new one. Now I'm just going to open one that I've pre-entered some content into. So when you create that page, you can enter the website page URL. So that will be your website address. So www.estateagent.com/. Whatever you type here will then appear after that /. We really recommend that whatever you add to the page, you make this page URL fairly self-descriptive. So, you know, do what it says on the tin, because that will help with SEO. So if you're writing information, for example, you're throwing up a page about COVID-19 and your response to the coronavirus, make the page URL, you know, information about coronavirus from X or whatever it might be. You then have this visible tick box, which appears in most of the screens within Via. If you don't tick this, the page will stay as a draft. You click that to make it visible on your website. If you click visible, you don't necessarily publish it. It's not necessarily viewable from the website if you haven't linked it to a main menu. So you can tick that. Then you've got your title. You then have a subheading, and then you have a main content box. You then have window title, meta description, meta keywords, and media. And I'm going to show you how they output when you add a very basic page like this. So if I just click the view page. So this is your title. So anything you put in this title section here will appear here in this title. Anything in the subheading here will be underneath. Anything in the main content section will appear here. Any media you add will appear here at the top, and you will always get this kind of gray overlay where the title is then that appears. Now the window title, meta description, and meta keywords, these are really important for SEO. So any page that you create should have a different window title and ideally a different meta description. Google doesn't like it if all of your pages have the same window title, the same meta description, and the same keywords. This is your opportunity to say to Google, this is what is contained within this website page. This is what people are looking for, essentially. So whatever you add in the window title here, you will see displays here on the actual tab within the browser, and it appears when I hover over it as well. Also, it will appear if I quickly do a Google search. So estate agent web design, for example. You can see there we are at number 1. The title will appear here. So whatever you enter in here, when Google then picks up that page and shows it in its Google listings, that will appear here. And what you enter into the meta description will be the description here. So here you can see why it's so important that when you're adding in the window title and the meta description, why you should use specific keywords about what that page is. So if, for example, you have created a new page about your, trying to attract vendors, for example, it's a valuation, why use us in sales? That's where you want to be putting things like, valuation, free valuation, whatever it might be. You want to include all of those keywords within the meta title and the meta description. You can tick this box here to hide any page from search engines. So if you don't want it to be searchable by Google, you can tick that box. I wouldn't recommend you do that. I'd only recommend you do that if you were writing a very specific page that was information for your customers, for example, that linked in from the main menu but wasn't really relevant to someone searching for your service. But on the whole, most of your pages you want to be discoverable by Google. So here you can see how you can quickly add a website page and what format it will then output as. If you want to edit this, you can do. Within here, you'll notice that all of these boxes are essentially like a text editor. So much like Word, it's what we call a WYSIWYG editor. Now, WYSIWYG stands for what you see is what you get. So basically, what you see in here is how it's going to output on the website. So for example, I might be looking at this and think, I want that title to be slightly bigger. So I can highlight it, I can go to my font size, I can make it bigger, I can embolden it. And then if I save that, if I then refresh the page, you'll see it's emboldened bigger. I might want to center align this content. So I can just press save. And again, it will then change on your website. And it might be that actually you want to add some more images onto the page, for example. So we can insert an image here. There we go. And I might want to center align that. And here we can see that image has then been added to the web page. So you can really use these boxes. You know, you can add grids, you can even add videos as well. So all you need to do is paste in the video URL. So if you haven't got a company YouTube account, I would really recommend that you start one. You just need a Google account. So if you don't have a Google account, just sign up to a new email address with Google, and then use that account to create a YouTube account, and then you can start hosting video, and then you can add the URL of that video in here, and it will allow you to pull in videos as well. So if I just quickly do that for you to show you how to do that. So you go insert video, and then we need to paste in a video URL. So if I go back to our WebDaddy account, these are some videos that we've already uploaded. So if I click that, there's my URL. So I take that, insert that, and there you go. That video has now been inserted onto the web page. I'll save that. And there you go. There's the video on the website page. So it's a really good way of adding video in quickly as well. It will always output in this format if you're using the basic page structure. If you want to do more advanced page designs, then head over to those video accounts that I showed you earlier, and you'll see how to build advanced pages where you can add in, you know, sliders of information or testimonials or tiles or, you know, featured property grids and all of that stuff. I want to quickly show you, I'm conscious of time, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I want to quickly show you how you can add blogs to any of your pages. So obviously you have blog functionality, so someone can go to your blog and see all of the articles, but there's a way of adding very specific blogs to the website page. So I want to show you that now. So what you would do is you would go to, so if I just show you quickly the blogs, just to show you how the keywords work. So here we've got 3 blogs that are on this website. I'll show you those 3 blogs in situ. So there's the 3 blogs on the website. You can see that you can add videos or images to the blog. And there's the 3 blogs there. You'll see that you can tag blogs, and when you tag them with keywords, those keywords then appear here. So everyone can then search for blogs of that type. So you can see you've got important news, for example. Or, so there you go, there's important news. Only that blog article has the tag of important news. Or new products. Just like that. It will then only show me the blog article that has new products. What tags you choose to use are completely up to you. You can add as many as you want to. You probably want to have some kind of structure though, so that you don't end up with a list of, you know, 25 different keywords that you use. I would maybe across your company think, well, actually, all of the blog articles that we post, they're of say 6 different types. So every time you add it, you always use one of or multiples of those 6 types of things that you want. If I go in here to one of the blog articles, you can see that's where the keyword is. So that one there is important news. So you can see when I selected the important news drop down, that's why the Christmas opening hours blog appeared, because of that. You just need to separate your keywords with a comma, and they can have as many keywords as you want. But I would recommend, yeah, that you pick 5 or 6 keywords that you'll use all the time and keyword your blogs with the same keywords. Once you know that structure, you can then add blogs of a certain type to a website page. So quickly show you that now. What you need to do is go over to the items tab. So items are essentially modules that you add to a website page. So they allow you to do kind of fancy designs. So if I go to items, I can add an item. I'll give it a name. So blog item homepage, because I'm going to add this to my homepage. I'm going to make it visible. From item template, I need to select the blog item template. So you can create different items and they have different formats. So you might want to add featured properties to a page. So you would then select the featured property carousel or grid, depending on what format you wanted to. In this case, I want to add a blog item. I can give it a title that will appear. So I might want to call it, say, industry news. Add an animation, select type. So do I want my blog articles to appear in a grid or in a slider where only one appears at once and then they slide to the next article? In this instance, I'm going to select grid. I can say how many blogs I want to display at any one time. So I'm going to select 3. And at the moment, I'm just going to leave the keyword section blank just to show you. So I've created my blog item. I now want to add that to my page. So I go to pages. I'm going to add it to the home page in this instance, but you could add it to any of the pages. So home page. And here's all the information that's on my home page. Now, if I scroll to the bottom, you can see items. So these are all the other items that I've added to the page. So I'm going to add my blog item for home page. Whatever order they display here is what order they appear from top to bottom on your website. So I want to drag this to the top because I want it maybe to appear just below the fold, or maybe I want to put it slightly lower down. So I'll put it after the sort of welcome intro blurb. So there we go, I've added it. Save and close. And now if I view my home page, you'll see there's my welcome blurb. And then you see the title that I've added, industry news, and here's my grid of my blog. So I'm pulling in a preview of my blog into my home page using the blog item. Now, if you want to customize what blogs show, you just use specific keywords. So if I only want the Christmas opening hours, for example, to display, excuse me, I go back into blogs, I find my Christmas opening hours, and I see that actually the keyword used is important news. So maybe on that homepage, I only want to display blog articles with important news. So I can close that, go back to my page. You can access the items through here. So you go down, you can find the item here, or you can go back to the items tab and search for it. You can see it's at the top there. I'll go into it. Home internet's a little slow. Can add in industry news. Excuse me. And there you go. Only that one appears. So by using keywords, you can choose what displays and what doesn't. Okay, so hopefully that was useful for you. We are about to release some new technology onto the platform, which will allow you to send a link to any vendor or landlord to get them to upload photographs and floor plans of their property remotely, so that you no longer have to go round to take photos and that kind of thing. I'm conscious I've taken up a lot of your time here, so I will show you, but if you wanted to drop out of this webinar, no problem. We will be sending everyone a copy of the video so you can re-watch this webinar at any time you choose. We'll also host this video on our YouTube and Vimeo accounts. So again, you can watch last week's, you can watch this week's. The next webinar will be Tuesday, same time at 2 p.m. So next week we're running 2 webinars, Tuesday at 2 p.m. and Thursday at 2 p.m. So do sign up again, and we'll show you more information. So if you need to go now, then thank you very much for watching. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. If you did want to hang on, and I'll show you the new functionality that will be rolling out across the platform, hopefully tomorrow. So yeah, we want to get this stuff up and running as quickly as possible. So I'm going to go back into my test account. So what you'll be able to do is you might have a property within your CRM software here that you need more information for. So you might have some photographs that you've taken that actually you realize that you're missing a garden shot, or you're missing something, and now you can't go round to the vendors. You can't go around there to take that photo that you need. So what do you do in that instance? Or maybe someone still wants a valuation done of a property. Maybe they're still keen to move. They are actually inquiring through your website. They're saying they have an interest in putting their property on with you, which people will still do. I'm sure once this all blows over, quite a few people will be sick of the sight of their house and might want to move, having been sort of quarantined in there for a couple of months. So if you might find, and I suspect you are, that the people want valuations still, you can use this tool to do that as well. So you find the property within VIA. So in this case, I actually want to find Vantage Muse, but you can search for whichever one you want to find. You right click, you go to send message, and then you go to send vendor upload link. Click that and you'll see here a little message, upload link sent. What that does is it sends an email notification to the vendor of that property. So in this case, you can see Eric Clapton is the vendor of this property, and there's their email address. If you haven't got a vendor registered, you will need to register the vendor of the property. So I'll quickly show you how to do that. So go into the property, go into internal, workflow, sorry. And then under instruction, you can see they're already linked. If that's blank, simply click that, start typing the name of the vendor, and then select that vendor, press save and close, and you'll have linked one of your contacts, the vendor, to that property. It will only pull in contacts that are marked as vendors, so make sure when you're adding your contacts, you mark them as the appropriate status. So add that in, save and close. So I'm just going to delete this image from this. So start that again. So if I go back into Vantage, there we go. We click that, we've sent that to the vendor. So I've triggered by going to send message, send vendor upload link, and it will send it to the vendor. So I'm now going to log into that email account. So now let's pretend I'm the vendor. I can see here, go back, I did that rather quick. You can see here, I'm the vendor and I've just received an email on behalf of, this account is called Atom Test. It would say on behalf of whatever the name of your estate agency is. So behalf of Shields and Rowland, for example. And it says additional media requested to market your property. So they click into that email. It says hi, pulls in their name automatically for you, gives the address, and it says that your agent has requested that you send additional media for the purposes of marketing your property. Please click on the link below to upload it. So they would click that link, takes you through to your website. So again, it's really good, generating traffic to your website. And there you go. Upload property images. It reiterates what their address is. Please upload any media that you'd like to be used in the marketing of your property. So great. Vendor can click here. They can add whatever images they want. In this instance, I'm just going to add this one image here. It will upload. And then when I go back in, so I go back in, I click on the property, It's still uploading. There you go. It's just finished uploading. So now the vendors sent that to us. They've uploaded the media that they needed to. You can then go back into VIA, go into the property, and there we go. That image that they've uploaded is now appearing under the media for that property. You can see here that there's a little minus symbol. All the other photographs have a tick next to them because you've verified that you want them to show online. Once the vendor has uploaded, or the landlord has uploaded that media, you then have the option to go in and you will decide when you want to put that live on the website. Maybe they send you 5 images and 2 of them are awful, so you only want to use 3 of them. You know, we're not going to put everything that the vendor sends automatically. So you go in, you see the media, you go, yeah, that's great. You just tick that. You don't even need to press save and close, but I will do in this instance, but you don't need to. You just click it and it will instantly display online. So go, and then when I check that property out online, so I can right click it, view online. Sorry, my home internet is a little slow. There you go. So that image that the vendor uploaded came into VIA, we decided to put it live, and then it's live on your website. So you can use that to get additional information. You can use that to, you know, take on instructions and actually get media, start marketing that property immediately, even in this current market. You could also use these upload links if someone requests a valuation. They might contact you, they request a valuation. So you have their details, you add that property in as a prospect. You can then associate that potential vendor with that property and then send them a link to say, look, we need images in order to do a valuation on your property. So could you upload, and then you could specify what images that you wanted them to do, and they could send you all of that information without ever having to visit your office. You can do it all remotely through your website and through VIA. You could also use that to send documents to them. It doesn't have to be JPEGs. So when they send that media to you, you can go into VIA, and if you click this preview, that will then allow you to download those files as well. So say, for example, say they sent you a Word document or a PDF document, you could then click that. It would give you a preview of it online, and then you can save that image from there. Save image as. So you can use this as a file transfer system as well. So hopefully that's really useful for you. We'll be releasing that hopefully tomorrow. We want to get this online as quick as possible for you. So hopefully that will be online tomorrow. So yeah, we'll let you know through VIA and also via email once that's available. Okay, I won't take up any much more of your time. If you could just, in the top right-hand corner, there's a poll. If you could just vote for us and just let us know, one, whether you found this webinar useful, and secondly, whether virtual viewings would be useful for you. Do vote in that there. And thanks very much. Hopefully you can join us on Tuesday at 2 o'clock, if not Thursday. And if not, just check out Vimeo, check out YouTube, and you can watch any of these videos at your leisure. Take care, everyone. I hope you're well, and we'll see you soon. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.